So when it comes to team velocity, some key things that you need to understand is regarding the estimation. What is the estimation that the team is using in this case? And when it comes to estimating the user stories, because that's what we're estimating, we have various techniques. We have t-shirts, if I can write today, t-shirt sizing. Another one that we do have is story points. Today, my focus is going to be on story points, right? This is what my focus is going to be on. When it comes to story points, we use the Fibonacci sequence. And the Fibonacci sequence is basically just these numbers. For the purpose of this video, I'm just going to keep it from 1 up to 13. So it's 1, 3, 5, 7, 13. Then it moves on to 15 and so on. But just for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to keep it at 1 to 13. Now, we have to understand with the theme, what is the unit of measurement? And what do I mean by unit of measurement? Based on different organizations and based on different teams, they would estimate or they will use different sorts of units of measurement. One story point could mean different things in different teams or different organizations. Some they could say, oh, this is just a couple of hours. 3 story points could be maybe half a day. 5 story points could be maybe the whole day, right? Then we have 7, 13. 7 could be maybe 3 days. 13 could be a whole week, you know. Depending on where you're working, each person will have their own unit of measurement that they have to use. So once you understand this, the next thing you have to move into is to see the various sprints that the team has. So when we're looking at sprint, we're looking at 100% completion in terms of sprint. So let's say, look at successful sprints that the team has accomplished in the past. That's the data that we're looking at right now. So we have, say, sprints. We've got a number of sprints: sprint 1, sprint 2, sprint 3, sprint 4, sprint 5. Let's say here they had a total of 14 story points. Here they had 13 story points. Here they had 16 story points. Here it was maybe 18 story points. Here it was, again, let's just say 15 story point. Now you ask me, how do I get 14, 13, 16? It's simple. If you look at, we'll look at the sprint backlog. Yeah, sprint backlog, because we're talking about sprint in this case. So let's say we are trying to have our release, and our release contain a series of user stories, right? Let's say we have got a logo, we've got a button, we've got maybe design page, we've got some back end as well. These could carry, and again, these are our user stories. This could carry a different story points. This could be maybe 1 story point. This could be 3 story point. This could be 5 story points, and this could be 5 story points. So in total, what do we have? We have 10, 13, 14. So we have 14 story points. This is how we came up with this number. So for this sprint backlog, we have a total of 14 story points. That's how we came to this number. So it would apply itself to the other sprints, right? Once you have a total of at least, because when we're calculating the team velocity, we want to calculate, just write this down. So in terms of team velocity, we want to calculate anywhere from 3 to 5 sprints to get the average. So look at the average of anywhere from 3 to 5 sprints to kind of calculate the team's velocity. In this case, I use 5. So we have 1, 2, 3 up to 5. So what we have to do is calculate all of this all together. So in total, if we do calculate, we have 76. This is a total. The total is of 76. So all we have to do, 76 divided by 5 in this case, right? We're trying to get the average. Just so you know where I got the 5 from. The 5 is a number of sprints. So if you're using just 1 to 3, if you're using just 1 to 3, so you're calculating just this bit here, then you're going to divide it by 3. So basically, it is a total number of story points that you had in the sprint divided by the number of sprint itself. In this case, we have 15.2. So this is the average. Our average is 15.2. So let's say now that we are moving forward. This is the average, and this is going to be the team's velocity. The team's velocity in this case is 15.2. So let's say in the future, we have maybe a product backlog, and our product backlog has a total of 100 story points. So how much time will it need for our team to tackle everything that we have in our product backlog? So all we have to do is divide it by the average that we had here, which is 15.2. If I can pull up my calculator quickly, right, 100 divided by 15.2 will give us 6.57, which means that technically it's going to require us 7, right? 7 sprints. Now, I forgot to mention that when it comes down to sprint, what does a sprint mean? Is it 2 weeks? Is it 4 weeks? But usually when people talk of sprint, they kind of mean 2 weeks. So let's just, for the purpose of this video, let's just say the sprint is 2 weeks, which means that if we're talking of 7 sprints, which equals to 14 weeks. So it's going to take your team 14 weeks to tackle this product backlog of 100 story points. Yeah, so it's going to take your team 14 weeks to tackle this 100 story points. I hope this kind of clarifies a little bit in terms of your doubt how this is being calculated. Again, you have to understand that there are other variable factors that will come in play, because this is like the perfect scenario where your team member don't fall sick or maybe everything is fine and rosy. But again, you have to understand that when it comes down to this, we have something called team capacity. So in short, team capacity is just time available and the resource available. This is what it is. So when we talk about time availability, is how much time does your team committed basically? Because I mean, there's break time, there's time for them to go around talking around. They're busy in various meetings. You have your daily stand-ups. So how much time has a team committed basically to do work? So that's when it comes to the time itself, availability, and the resource. How much resources do you have? Who is sick? Who is off on holidays in this case? How much resources do you have? This will affect as well the team's velocity. So this affects the team velocity. And the other thing you have to think about is, again, I'll put this in a separate video, but what if, because most of the calculations that we've done here is based on the fact that we have historical data, right, that we can kind of tap from and look. What if it's just a freshly set up team and we don't have no data in terms of previous sprints or the previous products that they've worked on? You have no data at all. How do you go about calculating then to find out the future? So I'm just going to leave that for a different video. I hope that you kind of understand, or you kind of have better grasp of what the team velocity entails in this case. If you do like content like this, please do not forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It does help new content creators like ourselves grow. So until next time, see you soon.